Welcome to a quite stunning part of the countryside here in the North Wales moorlands. Over to the west lies the beautiful scenery of the Snowdonia National Park, but the real sightseeing action takes place here today, just behind me at Fauxdegla Shooting Ground, where we welcome Olympic medalists and a host of the best Olympic shotgun shooters from across the UK, who are all here to battle it out for the title of British Shooting Shotgun Grand Final Champion 2017. 75 athletes in the senior, junior and para categories have made it here this weekend to compete in the shotgun disciplines of Olympic trap and Olympic skeet. The competition begins with a qualification stage where athletes have to successfully shoot 125 of these clay targets that are fired at high speeds over and away from them. And with these targets travelling at nearly 60 miles an hour, the margins for error are so small between a hit and a miss. So let's catch up with some of the action from the qualification stage with our commentator, Rob Knopfman.
Well, great to be here at Fauxdegla to watch not only the experienced Olympians, the likes of Steve Scott, Elena Allen and Ed Ling, but also some of the younger talent for the future that British Shooting is preparing for the world stage, thanks to its Talent Pathway programme. I had the pleasure of commentating on Peter Wilson's memorable gold medal in the double trap at the London 2012 Olympics. And it's been from that day that British Shooting has gone from strength to strength, thanks to funding from UK Sport and the National Lottery. Since then, the likes of Amber Hill and Ben Llewellyn have come through the ranks, and in the qualification rounds at the grand final, both impressed in their disciplines, with Ben scoring 123 out of 125 and Amber hitting 121 out of 125. The skeet qualifying also showcased the incredible talent of junior Lara Dale. Her total of 112 secured her junior gold and a spot in the senior final. What's so eye-catching about the British Shooting Shotgun Grand Final is the fact that in qualifications, the senior men and women, junior men and women, and para-trap athletes all shoot against one another in mixed squads. Opportunity beckons for all. In trap, there were two fine performances in the juniors from Jake Janes and Rebecca Ferguson, who both scored so highly they qualified for the senior finals. What's more, Jake achieved that despite having to transfer recently from his original discipline of double trap, which was removed from the Olympic programme earlier this year. Another transitioning trap shooter who qualified for the final was Matt Coward-Holly, who not only made it through, but finished second in qualifying with a score of 121, beaten only by Olympic silver medalist from Sydney, Ian Peel. He missed just one target out of 125. In para-trap, it was Steve Ling who stole the show, gold for him, and a score of 117, just one clay off his son Ed's total of 118. So after the intense concentration of 2 days of qualification, just 6 men and 6 women are through to the respective finals of the Olympic skeet and the Olympic trap. We'll be back soon for the women's skeet final, a lineup which sees Mal Cruikshank, Alexandra Skeggs, Emily Hibbs and Lara Dale, joined by 2 Olympians, Elena Allen and Amber Hill.
After qualification comes the final, and that's where the top 6 performing athletes battle it out through an exciting elimination process to leave just one shooter standing as the Grand Final champion for 2017. And whilst the nuances of Olympic trap and Olympic skeet are very different, the skills required to win in the final, like balance, reaction time and staying ice cool under pressure, remain the same.
And so the 6 finalists making their way out, led by Meow Cruikshank the Scot, followed by Alexandra Skeggs, Emily Hibbs, Lara Dale, Elena Allen and finally Amber Hill. Amber Hill, aged just 20, but with such experience now behind her after reaching the Olympic final in Rio. And she made a good, solid start in these overcast conditions. Elena Allen, 45 years of age now, from Caerphilly in Wales. 14th in Rio last year and the second best of the qualifiers with a score of 118. Lara Dale, such a promising junior, just 19 years of age. And she also makes a solid start in this final. Emily Hibbs, the 19-year-old from Poole in Dorset. She's coached by Graham Brown. What experience this is for her to reach the final. And she's followed by Alexandra Skeggs, now 34, lives in London, does her shooting at Bisley, coached by David Dale. And the last of the 6 to shoot in this opening round of the final, Mao Cruikshank, the Scot. And she made an excellent start, missing just 1 of her first 10 targets. But after 4 rounds of 10, it's Amber Hill who's leading the way with 36, 2 clear of Elena Allen, and Lara Dale gets through into the final 3 by virtue of having a better qualifying score than Alexandra Skeggs. But Dale eventually not able to sustain her accuracy, and eventually it comes down to a shootout between the top 2, the most experienced, Amber Hill and Elena Allen. Hill just missed 1 of her first 20 targets. Allen missed 4 of her first 20 and was always playing catch-up. And towards the end, Amber Hill was peerless. She hit the last 22 of her targets. She was the youngest ever World Cup winner at the age of just 15, inspired by watching Peter Wilson win the Olympics in London in 2012. And she produced some of her best form here at Fauxdegla. For Elena Allen, it was always a struggle to try and make up those early clays that she missed. And try as she might, she was never able to close the gap. Twice a World Championship bronze medalist, coached by her husband Malcolm, still with such a great appetite for the sport. But in the end, it's Amber Hill who wins the women's skeet final. The golden girl of British shooting with a smile to match.
Amber Hill, you are the grand final champion. How does it feel?
It feels great, especially being the first British woman for the grand final to win it. It's just incredible, and hopefully there's a lot more grand finals to come, and just going to keep competing and enjoying it. But it's been a great day, and just to get everyone together and show off our talent has been incredible. I was just enjoying it. It was just pure enjoyment out there. I missed my first one pretty early on, and it was just silly mistakes. But as I started to settle into it, I felt a lot better and just knew what I'd done and just corrected it. And the last couple of rounds just felt really smooth.
So confirmation that Amber Hill in the end was quite a comfortable winner. 5 clays ahead of Elena Allen, with the 19-year-old Lara Dale taking bronze. And so straight on to the men's skeet final. The 6 finalists led out by the man from Cornwall, James Rouncival, followed by Paul Tudge, the Scot Drew Christie, Gareth Macaulay from Northern Ireland, Freddie Callander, the 25-year-old from Edinburgh, and finally the best of the qualifiers, Ben Llewellyn, 123 out of 125. What a score that was. And he started the final in precisely that sort of form again. The son of the former 2-time Great Britain Rally champion, David. Freddie Callander, the 25-year-old from Edinburgh, also started the final as he did qualifying, coming in with a score of 118. Gareth Macaulay from Coleraine, celebrating his 25th birthday next week, 4-time the Irish Open champion. He was followed by Drew Christie, Commonwealth Games silver medalist from Carnoustie in 2014, lives just outside Dundee, and he also made an impressive start. Next was the 28-year-old from Cheltenham, Paul Tudge, coached by Martin Blandford and making a good, solid beginning to his campaign in the final. And lastly, the Cornishman James Rouncival practices with his father Chris at the Lower Lake Shooting Ground in Upton Cross. And after 4 rounds, Ben Llewellyn and Freddie Killander led the way, locked at 37 clays each, 3 ahead of the field. Drew Christie, the Commonwealth Games silver medalist, tried hard to close the gap. But eventually, he knew that bronze was the best that he could do, which meant it was a straight shootout between Llewellyn and Killander. What great prospects for British shooting they are. Just 23 and 25 years of age, and yet showing admirable composure to shoot at their best in the final. Still, there was so little to choose between them. 47 apiece. Just 3 misses. And now they had to go into a sudden death shootout. Llewellyn, who missed out on qualification for the Commonwealth Games by just 1 target. That was a difficult experience for him at the time, but he's bounced back and shown himself to be quite some competitor at Fauxdegla this week. Killander desperately trying to stay with him. But eventually, 1 miss was enough, and it's Llewellyn who wins the men's skeet final.
Ben, massive congratulations, you're grand final champion, but hey, that was tight, yeah?
Yeah, that was a tough final. Yeah, one of the toughest I've ever been in. I mean, fair play to Freddie for going all the way there to the shoot-off. It was a great final, great for the spectators, and it was great fun to be a part of.
So when it's down to sudden death, you know, what's going through your mind? What keeps you focused and, you know, really eyes on the prize?
I think it's just having the hunger to win, isn't it? I don't know, there wasn't much going through my head apart from breaking clays. But yeah, just kept focused and got there in the end.
So what a dramatic victory for Ben Llewellyn, the 23-year-old who just edges past Freddie Killander in a memorable battle in the men's skeet final. Drew Christie of Scotland taking the bronze. And we're straight back into the action here at Fauxdegla, starting off with the women's trap. The qualification rounds saw Kirsty Barr, Abby Ling, Rachel Parrish, Rebecca Ferguson, Andrea Swats and Caroline Povey qualify as the top 6. And it was the 29-year-old from Belfast, Kirsty Barr, who set a scorching early pace, missing just 1 of her first 25 targets, showing the sort of form that won her team gold at the 2015 World Championships. Next to go, Abby Ling, wife of Ed Ling, the Olympic bronze medalist. But she found life quite hard early on, missing 9 of her first 25 targets. Rachel Parrish was next to go, the 36-year-old, the gold and silver medalist from the Commonwealth Games of 2006. And then came one of British shooting's young talents, Rebecca Ferguson, who made a very impressive start. Andrea Swats was next to go, the lawyer who celebrated her 40th birthday earlier this year. And the last of the 6 qualifiers from Matlock in Derbyshire, Caroline Povey, bronze medalist at the Commonwealth Games in 2014. So after 40 targets, Kirsty Barr has a commanding 4-target lead. Rebecca Ferguson is in second, and Andrea Swats just saw off Caroline Povey by virtue of having a better qualifying score. Kirsty Barr continued to be an imposing front runner. Ferguson knew she needed to be at her best in the rarefied air of senior competition. Andrea Swartz has seen this sort of competition so many times before. But still, there was no pegging back Kirsty Barr. It now became a desperate battle to see who would join her in the gold medal match. Would it be the youngster Ferguson or the 40-year-old Swartz? With just 2 shots left, Ferguson and Swartz were level on 30 targets each. But Ferguson missed her last 2 after that, while Swartz hit one of hers. That was how close it was. 1 target, the difference between them in the end, with Swartz eventually coming through to get into the gold medal match. Barr knew she had a big lead. Could she maintain her form over the closing 10 targets? Swartz knew she needed to be perfect in those closing 10, but there was no stopping Kirsty Barr from Northern Ireland, and she became women's trap champion in convincing style.
So Kirsty, congratulations, you're the grand final champion. The short hop over from Northern Ireland was worth it.
It was, yeah. It's brilliant to be the first champion of the grand final. It's a really exciting event that British Shooting are putting on, and hopefully it'll run again next year. Can defend my title.
And you were out in front for pretty much all of that final. Is that quite a lot of pressure being in that position, or do you thrive in that place?
You just try not to think about it, because in a final like that, the positions can change so quickly. So you just have to keep your head down and get on with it.
Kirsty Barr then an emphatic winner of the women's trap final. 10 clear of Andrea Swartz, and what a performance from young Rebecca Ferguson, the junior, picking up the bronze. And straight on to the men's trap final. The 6 finalists led in by Nathan Hales, followed by Mike Wixie, Jake Janes, Matt Coward-Holly, Aaron Heading, and the best of the qualifiers, the former Olympic silver medalist, Ian Peel. It's nearly 30 years since he competed in his first Olympic Games in Seoul. Aaron Heading, the 30-year-old from Spalding, was next to go. Then came the 22-year-old from Chelmsford, Matt Coward-Holly. Jake Janes is one of the most promising young British shooters around at the moment. Mike Wixie has plenty of experience. Now aged 46 from Abergavenny, he was bronze medalist in the Commonwealth Games in 2002. And last of the qualifiers to go, the 21-year-old from Chatham in Kent, Nathan Hales. Ian Peel won his silver medal in Sydney in 2000. He was the best of the qualifiers but couldn't reproduce his best form in the final. Instead, it was Coward-Holly and Aaron Heading who set the early pace, along with the Welshman Mike Wixie. After 25 shots, Nathan Hales was the first to be eliminated, along with Jake Janes, and then surprisingly, Ian Peel left as well. So Aaron Heading and Mike Wixie led the way with 44 apiece, and Matt Coward-Holly was assured of the bronze. There was little between the two leaders right the way through to the final 5 shots. Indeed, Mike Wixie's lead at that stage was just 1 target. But Aaron Heading is a former Commonwealth champion. He won his gold in Delhi in 2010. Wixie, whose wife Sarah is such a talented shooter as well, continued to apply the pressure. But Heading, who was introduced to the sport by his father John and his brother Martin, seemed remarkably unaffected by the grey, gloomy conditions. Wixie had that advantage going into the final 5 shots, but a couple of costly errors suddenly crept into his shooting. He missed 3 targets in his last 5 shots. But it's not easy for Heading either, as he has a no bird on his 4th of his final 5 shots, meaning the clay just didn't come out of the trap. But he manages to hold his nerve. Both shooters end up with 44. It's level, and so it goes to a sudden death shoot-off. Heading hits his first target. But Wixie misses his. And that means Aaron Heading, in sudden death, is the men's trap champion. The 30-year-old from Spalding in Lincolnshire adds the British Shooting Trap Grand Final to his Commonwealth title and his European Junior Championship.
Okay, Mike, congratulations on second place, but commiserations. You had this guy breathing down your neck for the whole final. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel okay. I missed a few early on, so it didn't settle that well, and then sort of got into my rhythm, and I think I just missed that 1, maybe 2 from the end. I just dropped my shoulder a little bit, sort of missed it, and I knew I'd sort of learning back on par, so it was going to be difficult from there, but I just lost a bit of concentration, I think, from finishing, coming back to the single barrel, and just didn't prepare well, I guess, but all congratulations to Aaron. Shoots very, very well.
Okay, and how are you feeling as champion? You know, is this a big thing for you, and what does this mean for you moving forward into 2018?
You know, it's given me the confidence. This is the first medal this year, really, on home soil, and given me the confidence to know that I can still do it, still come away with gold, and pushing on to next year. Who knows what happens next year?
A tremendous finish then to the men's trap final. Aaron Heading taking it in a sudden death shoot-off against Mike Wixie, with the talented youngster Matt Coward-Holly taking the bronze.
So as the medal ceremonies take place, we bring the curtain down on a fantastic inaugural British Shooting Shotgun Grand Final for 2017. 75 athletes came, and we have our 4 senior and 4 junior and our 1 para trap champion. It's been a fantastic weekend of shooting. If you've watched this and you think Olympic shooting might be for you, then the British Shooting website is the place to go, and keep your eyes peeled for an even bigger and an even better grand final in 2018.